everyone. So to kind of start off, I'll introduce myself. So my name's Ben Weiss. I am a correspondent for DL News. It's this newer crypto outlet from the founders of DeFi Llama. And that's enough about me. I'll kind of just let my panelists go down the line and introduce themselves as well.
Ladies first.
Hi, good afternoon. Mira Sejwani. I'm Managing Director at Damac Properties, as well as CEO and founder of PRYPCO, where we do fractional ownership and digital mortgages.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mahmoud Al-Burai. I'm the Director of Real Estate Policies and Innovation at Dubai Land Department, Dubai Government.
My name is John Patrick Mullin, CEO and co-founder of Mantra. We're building a real-world asset layer one focused on asset tokenization.
Cool. And then Kunal. Yeah.
Kunal Subjani, partner at Shorooq Partners. We're one of the leading early-stage tech investors in the region.
Yeah, so welcome to all the panelists. So I think the panel is about tokenization, right, and tokenization of real estate. So I thought I would start off with Kunal, because you're an investor, you're looking at this from a super macro perspective, a bird's eye view. Why tokenization, and why tokenization for real estate?
Thank you. Let me start with talking about tokenization. I think we've got enough people on the panel who know more about real estate than I do. So from our point at Shorooq, we approach this as a thesis we've been looking at for a while now. And we don't see it as just real estate tokenization, it's real world assets tokenization. But we do think real estate is a very important vertical to it. So starting off, and I'll try and combine the two, real world assets and real estate, is initially real estate tokenization we see as important because clearly you can already get fractional ownership in real estate. REITs have been around for a very long time. But our view is real estate is still an emotional thing, and people do want to be able to say they own a building wherever it might be. Fractionalization, and that's been solved by fractionalization. We actually have the founder of PRYPCO, which is one of the leading fractionalization companies in the region here, who we're also proud investors in. And I believe that's been solved as well. Where we see tokenization really crossing over there is we have a thesis on collateralization of real world assets. And I think that's what you don't get without the tokenization side, because essentially people who buy fractionalized real estate will not get any leverage on it. What we want is people to be able to own the token, and effectively you have something which is...
So it's like, basically it's like you can say, instead of being in a REIT, right, you can say like, oh, I actually like own a piece of this house at this like specific place.
Yeah, and equally importantly, I can now borrow against that and go and invest in a private credit fund.
Where you can't do that in a REIT, right? You can't just say, I'm like, you wouldn't go to a bank and say, oh, I'm in this REIT, can you loan me, $1,000?
Exactly. And then that gets the whole real world asset side going. And then the final piece we'd say about that is the private-public blockchain partnership. We truly believe that in order to get the next billion people into crypto, you need to merge traditional finance with DeFi. And this is another example. We have Amira, developer of Damac here, who's a managing director of Damac, a great developer. She has trust from her clients already. We don't need to go from Web3 and gain that trust. They can do their own private blockchain. Mantra can do the public blockchain and create, because without liquidity, it doesn't work.
Gotcha. So I think, Amira, given that Kunal has referenced kind of what you're doing and how tokenization could potentially help Damac, I would love to hear from you why you're interested in it. Like, why are you on this panel?
Sure. So as Damac, we are today the largest private property developers in the region. And we have great traction of obviously buyers and investors into real estate. But the reason that I'm super interested in tokenization is because it opens the asset class to a whole new class of people that were previously unable to jump into that. For us at Damac, our average ticket size is around 2.5 million dirhams. With Dubai's market booming and where it is, specifically in Dubai, because it's been such a phenomenal run and such a phenomenal bull on the market. And we really genuinely, we don't see it slowing down anytime soon in terms of the demand, because a lot of people say, Dubai's gone up so much. It's gone up so much, but on your way here, you probably would have been in the car for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I was for sure.
That was me yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the first half of 2024, there's been 200,000, I think Mahmoud can correct this number for me, 200,000 people who've moved into Dubai. And so the demand of supply that has come in the last couple of years, that's already almost taken up by just the growth that's come in this year. Tokenization opens the asset class to a far wider audience. To be able to invest from $1,000 into Dubai real estate from anywhere you're sitting globally, that's a totally different game.
Gotcha.
And you then start competing with financial instruments. I think this is where a lot of people don't realize as well. I was just having a conversation yesterday with a friend, and she goes, but why wouldn't I buy a full asset? I said, you should buy a full asset if you can afford it. You should also buy fractions of an asset, because you're then competing with the financial instruments that are bonds and structured products and stocks.
It also gives you, it diversifies, right? Like
it gives you diversification, but it also allows a lot of more diversification into the real estate classes itself. So you're able to diversify across areas, across luxury, non-luxury, across affordable living, across vertical versus horizontal. So it allows massive diversification of product. But just to touch base on what Kunal was saying as well, it's very true that a lot of people are not educated enough on the leverage and what you can do with your money that's stuck in assets that you may think are illiquid, but they really are liquid. In tokenization, when you look at the pool of staking and leveraging that comes in, that itself doubles the yield that you're making on any asset class that you're buying through tokenization and on the blockchain.
Gotcha.
And that's a big education curve. But once that comes in, I think it'll become the next regular, traditional finance that is DeFi today.
I mean, Mahmoud, I would love to hear from you. I mean, I'm assuming you've also had to learn about tokenization and, figure out why specifically you think it's a good thing for Dubai. So I'd love for you to kind of jump in on that.
Well, thank you so much. I just want to say that a few weeks ago, we approved Dubai Real Estate Strategy 2033. And actually, tokenization now, we're not just talking about it. It's happening. It's part of our plan. We are working on it. We work with the private sector. We work with VARA. We work with the different government entities. Dubai real estate market is the most dynamic real estate market on earth, overtaking UK, overtaking Singapore, and many other markets. On the top of that, we recorded almost 8.8% annual rental yield in Dubai real estate market. So we want people to, with small ticket, access such great opportunity. We want to take our real estate transaction from 600 billion dirhams of today to 1 trillion dirham by 2033. Technology for us is an important, it's enabler. It increases the transparency of the city. We want Dubai to be on the top tier of transparency. But at the same time, tokenization is utilization of technology to provide investment product for people to invest in. So we call it how we democratize real estate investment, how we give. In Dubai, we have 217 nationalities of investors who invested in Dubai. How do we give more people access to benefit from Dubai and all piece of Dubai? And this time, tokenization is happening with the government support under our umbrella. We make sure everything is governed. We have the perfect system model to make sure that it's attached and it's directly integrated into Dubai Land Department system. Yeah. And this is how we protect people. So it's part of the strategy. It's happening, and you need to watch for us. Hopefully by Q1 2025, we will see this reality.
So I mean, last but not least, John, Mahmoud's talking about technology, right? And so obviously there needs to be a technology provider. And you guys are presumably making a bet in real estate tokenization and trying to make this happen. I'm curious, how's it been going? Have you seen a lot of interest? Is there actually uptake? Because, tokenization has been a narrative in crypto for years, right? So when are we actually going to get there in terms of having more cities beyond Dubai, actually leaping in?
It's a good question when we're going to see it outside of Dubai, but I think we can all agree on this panel that it's going to start here first. As a layer 1 blockchain that's creating an infrastructure or protocol for asset tokenization, we're obviously meant to be relatively agnostic. So we are working across real estate, financial assets like funds, private credit, private equity, treasury funds, et cetera, IP and content. You can tokenize basically anything. Pokemon cards or rare automobiles or anything. That doesn't.
Have you tokenized Pokemon cards?
Not yet, but I would like to.
Okay, that's the next step after Dubai's real estate.
Yeah, or watches or something like that. But think about it like this: how many Pokemon cards or nice watches does it take to tokenize $1 billion worth of those assets? A lot, an incredible amount. Whereas with real estate, particularly here, I mean, as we're talking about, this is a soon-to-be trillion dirham industry on a yearly basis in Dubai alone, right? That's insane. That's bigger than the entire crypto market to a degree, right? Like this asset class will transcend just digital assets in general.
Yeah, and so I think, you know, kind of going like off of that in terms of talking about Dubai, like, you know, you can jump in here too, but I'd love for Amir and Mahmoud to kind of talk about this too, is that obviously there's a regulatory angle here.
Yes.
Right, so you can't just, you know, tokenize everything willy-nilly without the government
100%.
you know being at least apprised of what's going on. I mean, I'd love for you to maybe talk about how you're negotiating that, John, and maybe you guys can also jump in afterwards too.
I'll be very careful about what I say here, but you know, generally speaking, this is obviously something that you want to have the input of the government, of the regulators, and it's something that we take very seriously here. When, you know, historically people have done tokenization, particularly in real estate. You know, I almost call it faux tokenization because you're tokenizing an existing structure, you know, an SPV that honestly doesn't end up having the actual title within it, which is obviously why it's so important what DLD is doing here, because that is actually the game changer. That is real estate tokenization, and you know, that's why it's so important to have the buy-in, because you're actually making that exponential leap forward, rather than just, you know, hey, we're putting in a token form and now it can be traded.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Amira, like, you know, I'm curious what are the interplays between Damak and Vara, for example, and like the Dubai government? Obviously, it seems like it's not just you know, you guys are doing your own thing. It seems like a partnership.
So that's a great question. For me, well, just to be clear, I deal with Vara as PRYPCO, my startup, but it's essentially the way we deal with Vara is we have the hat of the technology facilitator as well as the developer, as well as we actually own large facilities management companies. So we're able to highlight what potential issues could come up in the governance side of the tokenization. But to be very frank, and I don't say this just because Mahmoud's here, I don't think that there is a single government in the world that has been as supportive and as innovative as Dubai. The fact that they've given us the ability to say, work with us to see how we can put the governance that would work from a business perspective, as well as from a government perspective to protect the retail investors, that I think is a game changer globally. Like, a lot of people ask me, they say, why is tokenization not been able to be achieved anywhere in the world? You know, and why will Dubai be the first? What's special about you guys? And my genuine answer is Dubai is the only city in the world where the government is standing up, and I think Mahmoud calls me more than I call him to say, what's happening? And that's very unique.
He's still learning.
It's very unique for the government to be more aggressive and wanting to achieve something that is so innovative than people sitting at the government's door every day and saying, knock, knock, can we try to do this? You know, can you try to help us? Let's maybe start it. And I think that is the game changer here. The fact that the government is being so supportive and so understanding, it definitely deserves a round of applause for the Dubai government.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that when they are able to come together and put the governance, the business is easy. The technology has been around for years. You know, we've been talking about the technology that's going to be used, etc. And the technology is there. You can do tests today offline. There's many providers that are able to do it, that have done it to SPVs and globally and locally. But it's the government angle that's missing, and that is where Dubai is ahead of the game.
Gotcha. I mean, I think, you know, with our last minute and a half, I mean, it seems like when we were talking about regulatory hurdles and like the question of why isn't tokenization more of a thing, it seems like it's not so much a technological question, what you're saying, Amira, it's like buy-in from the government. And I guess, Mahmoud, like, do you have any kind of like closing kind of thoughts or remarks about kind of, you know, cities generally and governments generally and their kind of need to actually push this technology forward?
Well, as I said, our strategy is to make Dubai the first choice for international investors, and this is the government. And the first policy we worked on this year was the alliance policy. We partner with private sector, with people to make sure that what His Highness says, whatever is good for business is good for Dubai. A lot of people asked me about the legal hurdles. We say in Dubai, His Highness always say, in Dubai, we don't worship laws and regulation. We don't glorify procedures. Laws and regulations are meant to serve people. So whatever is good for people will do. And this is why I'm saying it's not a matter of hurdles, it's a matter of alignment. We have property ownership laws, we want to make sure they're aligned. We have homeowners association laws, rental laws, privacy laws, smart crowds enforceability. So at the end of the day, we promise you that tokenization is happening, and be part of this journey.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, we've actually finished a little bit early. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to kind of chat with us. And Yeah, no, I hope everyone enjoys lunch. I think that's what's next. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.